kind of fun. No, no, no. You do the blue, and I'll do the white, and then invite James and Valentina up. Okay.
Does anybody know what time it is? Anybody got a watch? Is it 11 o'clock yet?
Sure is.
Oh, 15 after. I don't believe that. Okay.
We're doing good.
Hey, let's get started then. Welcome to Woodland Chapel. You know, this is a fine place to be on a Sunday morning, do you not? You could be any place else when you think about it if you wanted to, but you decided to come here. You made the right choice. You're going to have a surprise message of the morning. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. We're going to enjoy it. Is there anyone visiting us for the very, very first time? I know there is. Hallelujah. Welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. We hope you like what you see, what you hear. We hope you come back. Yeah. Okay. Blessings. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? I think I recognize most everybody here.
Yes.
Right back there.
Well, welcome.
There's an era of mystery around this too here. You someday maybe find out what that's all about. It has to do with music. Aha. So just keep thinking. Okay, so, you know, if you have not had a chance to fill in this little goldenrod card, we call it, goldenrod color, anyhow, it gives us something we can just stick away, and we would like to let you know what's going on around here. Just keep you informed, so you might want to come back to special events and things like that. And we'll, we pass around our offering vessel, plate. Plate sounds like Thanksgiving to me, but vessel, plate. Just drop this in. If you haven't done it yet, just do so. It's in the front of your seats. You'll see them. Stick it up there. So, so what we'll do is ask you to please join us for fellowship. You know what that is? It's goodies and a lot of good conversation, a lot of swapping stories downstairs after the service. So just show up and we'll say hi down there. And what else is going on, Julie?
Okay, so I know you were expecting to be here to hear Catherine speak this morning, and she got ill yesterday. So I just got home last night from our going to a funeral over in eastern Idaho. So you got me this morning. So sorry about Catherine being ill. But I do want to.
No apologies. You're worth coming to listen to.
But I do want to mention, she was going to do a workshop after the service today, and we will postpone that because I think it's a really valuable workshop. And she has done workshops for hospitals, and she's a social worker and has done so much work around, around trauma a lot. And we all have some form of trauma, great or small. So we will. But you can still sign up for that, and we'll let you know. If you put your email, we'll let you know when we've rescheduled, okay? I think it'll be really, really a valuable workshop. Yeah. Oh, I think that was for you to announce. I'm sorry, Don.
All right.
But so I'm going to talk about the next one down there that's on the back of your bulletin, Shortcut to a Miracle. I've taught that before, and it's really... Cheryl O, who's down helping get things ready for us to enjoy after the service. But it's a simple book that explains all of our teachings and principles in an easy to understand manner, and it's so powerful. So I invite you to consider taking that and coming on Tuesday night. We're going to do that starting this Tuesday, actually. From 7 o'clock, I believe, 7 o'clock to 8:30, something like that. Yeah, so it's really, really quite good. I really encourage you to show up and participate.
I'll see you there. I've been intending being there all the time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Potluck luncheon is next Sunday. You all know that, I'm sure. We love it. Just remember to sign up in the library. We're saying that tell us what you plan to bring, if anything. We got plenty, but we'd like to have you join in, bring something if you wish.
And I think
And
James
James-
and Valentina have
And-
something to say.
Yeah,
Sorry if I interrupted you.
it's all right.
Lack of sleep, or else a habit. Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, come
And
on up.
we're so excited. They just stepped right up, and we didn't have anyone anymore to be in charge of potlucks, and we surely did not want to give them up, because what is the second purpose of churches? Potlucks. And so, and they just stepped right in, and we're so excited. So, yeah. All right, James and Valentina, do you want to use the microphone?
Hi everyone. We're really excited for potluck, and we do have an idea, and that is to start giving it like a theme. And we thought that, I mean, for May, the most appropriate theme would be Mother's Day. So that doesn't mean anything really. Like, we're just gonna have cute decorations and some little trinkets for you guys. But then I just wanted to ask you, next Sunday, just come prepared with a memory of your mother or your maternal figure, you know, someone that was a maternal figure in your life. And we're gonna be writing them down in our craft paper. And that way we can just have like a big piece of motherly love here at church. And yeah, just, we did put a little list of things that we might be needing for the potluck, so that way we don't have like 10 desserts and 2 entrees, you know what I mean? So yeah, we're very excited, and we hope to see you next Sunday. Yeah, it's right next to it.
Wow, we're just so blessed with those two. Yes, going to make it exciting. Just a minute. There's one thing in front of you, aside from the goldenrod one. There's the lavender prayer form, and I'm since I had a surprise moment to speak to you today, I want to talk about prayer, because it rarely seems to get on the schedule. But I want to talk about prayer today. And if you have something going on in your life, please fill that out. We have a wonderful prayer team. It's confidential, and there's a little box out here in the library, I think against this wall, that you can drop it in, and or the offertory basket when it comes around. So yeah, prayer is just like super, super important. Just want to connect with that.
Direct
Yeah,
line. Yes.
direct line.
Okay, so we're going to sing.
Let's do it. Yeah. Should we sing? How about a song we probably have all sung before?
Yeah. We can stand and sing, you guys.
Sure, even better. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the
And then on that note, I'd like us to just take a moment and just close your eyes, and I'm going to read a prayer for my country. It's a wonderful prayer. Believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America, and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer, for my country. I know that divine intelligence governs this destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are the gifts of freedom, and they are the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country. It's causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind, the God mind, contains the answers to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed by this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem. Each is compelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance and security and peace shall come to all. And I know that this spiritual democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. Ernest Holmes wrote that. Thank you, Ernest. And so it is. Yes, thank you.
Come and pray with me. Come and pray with me. Come and pray with me. Come on down to the river with me and say a prayer. Meditate with me. Meditate with me. Meditate with me. Come on down to the river with me and meditate. Let it go, be free. Let it go, be free. Let it go, be free. Come on down to the river, be free, and let it go. Come and pray with me. Come and pray with me. Come and pray with me. Come on down to the river with me and say a prayer.
One more time.
Yes.
Come on down to the river with me and say a prayer.
When we enter the high watch of prayer, we find there's no one way only to pray. The constant granting of grace assures us that there are many ways to experience that sweetness of connection. We may find ourselves on our own special path of personal peace and joy, and simply going within and accepting that power of the one source of the one all good that so many call God, the G-O-D, the grand overall design. So I speak my words of great thanks for that loving source that so loves us and our world, that we can know why we were born, why we're together here this morning. As others in other houses of faith are gathered in prayer all over the city of peace, Salem, peace. This morning we will raise our voices in song and celebration for the opportunity of hearing a message by our messenger and be inspired to carry it out into our activities of the coming week and share this with our world. I give thanks for this day, this brand new baby day, this brand new baby morning, and I allow it to grow into something of joy and value and for the spiritual journey that we're all on, that we're all sharing. I release and I let it go. I accept and rejoice as my words go out into that one loving field of divine creativity and become this morning's wonderful reality. I ask you now, just simply join with me and let us say together, and so it is.
And so, Don, with that beautiful voice of yours, we're going to have a group affirmation now, and then you'll do your reading. In your bulletin in blue, let's say that together. There is an unbroken wholeness that lives within me, and it's just waiting to be revealed, and so it is.
We usually do a reading at this time out of the Science of Mind magazine, and many times when we come up here to do a reading, different ones of us, we always encourage you, get this magazine and read it. It's such a fine piece of literature, more than literature. It's an informational, spiritual experience. There's one in here that is called, got my eye, said, it's called Equality and Humanity. And it starts out, essence is who you are when all the pretending has fallen away. Hamid Ali. And then good old Ernest Holmes in Creative Mind magazine says, we who are claiming the use of the greater law must emancipate ourselves from all sense of limitation. We are not to be governed by the outer confusion, but by the inner realization. Yeah. And the body of the reading says, have you ever fallen into the trap of the illusionary dyad? This dyad is so deeply ingrained in our minds that we often are unaware of the silent hum that permeates nearly everything else we do. The dyad I refer to as the belief in superior/inferior. The idea that some people are superior or inferior to others. As it relates to us, we fall into the illusion of believing we are superior to some in certain ways and inferior to others in different ways. This dyad is fueled by income levels, by neighborhoods that we live in, the color of our skin, the cars we drive, the schools we attend, the hospitals we were born in, the place we've traveled, the miles we hold, as well as family structures, sexual orientation, political beliefs, on and on and on, religion, height, weight, age. That list goes on and on. Countless external markers feed this illusion. And when this dyad rules our mind, equality cannot exist. When we see ourselves as superior, we exclude others. and looking down on them as if they need saving. When we see ourselves as inferior, we exclude ourselves, shrinking back in insecurity. So dissolving this dyad is simple, but it requires our full attention. The dissolution of this illusion leads us back to human equality. To begin this journey is to remember that every human walking this faith on this earth is inherently worthy of virtue by being empowered by God. If we truly believe this and live this, the dyad will disappear. When you find yourself playing this game, rise above it and see God in all the rest and yourself. There's an affirmation that reassures that. And it says, I rise above the dyad of super / inferior, and I see God shining through all. God is all there is. And so it is. Thank you. Let's have some more music.
I want to play a song I recently heard for the first time by the Carter family. It's called Anchored Love, originally written by James Rowe and James Vaughn, who wrote it maybe a decade or so before they ever recorded it. And some of the words we'll hear today are a little different than they originally showed up. I found a sweet haven and sunshine at last, and I trust in the stars up above. Their dear lights surround me, are lovingly cast. How sweet their whispers of love. Oh, the tempest is over, I am safe evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine, 'cause the danger has passed. I am anchored at last. I am anchored in love divine. Now when I was frightened, it lovingly came to pilot my storm-beaten soul. Sweet peace was spoken and blessed its name. The billows no longer roll. No, the tempest is over, I am safe evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine, 'cause the danger has passed. I am anchored at last. I am anchored in love divine. This love will guide me through life and in death, if only I trust to the end. I'm thankful each hour, and on my last breath I'll sing of how grateful I am. 'Cause the tempest is over, I am safe evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine. Yeah, the danger has passed. I am anchored at last. I am anchored in love divine.
Thank you, Peter. I just love when Peter is here. His music is so
Thank you.
yours, and I love it. There's something about it that harkens back to something in me. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And I know you were expecting Catherine, but there are always surprises in life, aren't there? So Don called me last night and said Catherine was ill. And so I want to talk to you then about something that is never scheduled, and so I'm free to say when or where I want here. And I want to talk about, yeah, I know. Yeah, well, not too much, but. So I want to talk about prayer. My husband and I were in Eastern Idaho for about 10 days. We went for a funeral and family things, and just driving. Oh, and our son, when we're gone, takes care of all of my critters. He's going to want me to, yeah, all the cats and chickens and horses and all of that. So he called yesterday and he said my cat was out and didn't come back all night. And he sat up all night waiting for the cat to come back. And I was like, oh my God, I can't leave home. I just can't leave home. Something always happens. And so anyway, and I know he felt terrible. So we got home. The cat came back, of course, when the cat wanted to come back. And he said to me, I hate to admit it to you, Mom, but I prayed. So I know. And there's a long story behind this. For many years, he did sound when I was a full-time minister before I retired. And so I said, I have a lecture to give to him. I want to tell him about some principles because there's something significant in his life that he needs to hear that. And so given that he doesn't want to hear the lecture, he said, oh, I know everything you're talking about, Mom. And he said, I want you to know I never listened when you talked. But, of course, he did. So, anyway, we have this really fun give-and-take relationship. And so for him to admit, I didn't hate to admit it, Mom, but I prayed for the cat to come back. And so, prayer, I was like, of course, a prayer works. And you see there's your demonstration. I didn't want to leave out in it. It's a sort of a metaphysical I told you so, so. We don't say I told you so. We have other ways of doing that. But it's satisfying, isn't it? It's always satisfying. And so prayer is such a universal thing. Everyone prays. And my family, as you know, most of them, except the ones that have fallen away, are Mormons. And they always say a prayer before everything. And it's lovely. And I love it. And it's not my prayer, but it's their prayer. And I think prayer, I value all prayers. Every prayer. We're going to talk about the prayer, the way we do prayer here. But, whomever is praying, and in the scriptures it says, ask and you shall receive. And when I was in all those places that I had a ton of stuff to ask for before, it finally clicked in that what I pray for I already have. Before you ask, I answer. I love those. Those are not, they're in the, we find them in the New Testament, but they go back to the Hebrew culture. They're old stories. They're old sayings because people forever have known that prayer works. And did you ever, and we all have, our prayers are going to reflect our concept of God, right? And have you watched yours evolve over time? How you pray? I remember when I converted to Catholicism, which I dearly love, and fortunately a lot of the prayers you can memorize, so it made it easy. But there was also this God, and it was still the same God, I think, that I learned when I went to the Baptist and Methodist church and all that in my younger days. It was still the same God. And it was a God who was watching, which I really hated. But it was a God that you had to ask favors of. Did any of you ever have that God? And maybe you still have, it's a him, maybe you still have him lurking in your head. And that's okay, except that it tells you that depending on this God's feelings about you or approval of you, perhaps is how your prayer is going to be answered. And often they were, I beseech and I implore. And so I had this God for a long time. And I got to tell you, every time, and this is true, every time I had an examination in college, I bargained. Have you, okay, yes, thank you. You don't have to raise your hands. You nodding your head would be fine to make me feel I'm part of the whole. Bargained, if you ever bargained with this God. And I promise, if I just get through of course, I could have studied until my confidence was really high, but that was clearly not an option. Well, it was an option, but I relied on prayer at the last minute. And inevitably, I would pray, and if I passed the test, did I keep my side of the bargain? Inevitably not, because I promised to not do something or to do something, and then once it was over. And so the contract was sort of broken, wasn't it? But, I mean, I know, I thank you for nodding, that we do that because there is that lurking in us that can say yes or no. And to discover the form of prayer that we teach in the Centers for Spiritual Living, Unity, all the New Thought churches is so powerful. And I admit it took me years of knowing intellectually and practicing before I could really not have that anywhere in my mind, my consciousness anywhere. That never lurked anymore. And I want to talk about prayer because I use it all the time. Because I need a lot of help, evidently. And I pray for wisdom. And it works. It works, and it works, and it works. And you know, if you've listened to me speak enough, I will share demonstrations many, many times. And so I have come to believe so firmly in the power of prayer. And the way that we do prayer makes so much sense to me. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And I remembered a story. Have any of you heard of Carolyn Mays? I know she had a lot of books. Yes, thank you, a lot of you. In fact, we have a number of her books in the library. And she has written a lot of brilliant books. And was a speaker, did a lot of speaking. I think she still does a little bit of speaking. And workshops and retreats and whatnot. And I remember powerfully one story that she told. And she had been doing one of her retreats and one of her sessions. She wrote her early books on healing and then moved into different kinds of prayer and whatnot. But she was saying after one of her talks, this person came up to her and wanted to share a story with her. And the story stuck with me, and that I can still remember it. Apologies, Carolyn, if I get anything wrong with it, but this woman said to her, she was in a traffic jam, and there'd been an accident about 5 cars up, a really, really bad accident. And she had been taught always to pray when there were accidents. And so she began to pray for whomever it was that was in that car and was injured. And now the other side of this, let's go to the person that was in the car and was very seriously injured, and was so seriously injured that she left her body and was kind of observing. And you know the stories of when you have these near-death experiences and whatnot. And so she was watching down there, and her body was just severely injured. And she saw this light. She said, I saw this powerful light emanating from back in the... Well, she also heard a lot of people complaining about having to sit there while the accident was cleared and the ambulance came and all that, and everybody was moaning and groaning and being upset. But then she said 5 cars back, she saw this bright light emanating from this car. And she said it kind of went up and touched her and went down into her vehicle, to her body. She said it was just an amazing light. And she looked to see where it was coming from, and what she noticed, because, you know, you're more conscious when we're in our spirit selves than we are restricted by our body. And that's my belief. You can have your own. I'll try to convince you, but anyway, she saw the license plate on this car and remembered the license plate number. And she went through a lot of therapy and a lot of rehab, and she always remembered that. So when she was well enough to get around, back in those days, you could actually go to the DMV and find out. You can't do that anymore, but you could actually find out who owned this particular license plate. It's been I don't know how many states don't allow it anymore, but we don't. But you could. And so she found out who owned that car and where they lived, because that was part of the information you could get in those days. And she said she looked up the people and got flowers, and she went to visit this woman. And who she went to visit is the woman that was at Carolyn's retreat and was telling her this story. And she knocked on her door, and she had brought her flowers. And she said, "You prayed for me when I was in that car accident." And it was so powerful. And she wanted to thank her for that. And this woman didn't know who was in the car accident, but she was telling Carolyn the story of this woman showing up with flowers to thank her for praying for her. That she could see that, she could see it, experience. And that story always touched me. Powerful story. Our prayers matter. They're powerful. They're powerful. And sometimes when I pray for someone, I don't decide what they need anymore. Years ago, I pretty much knew what everyone needed, and then I could pray for it without their asking. But I don't do that anymore. If somebody hasn't asked me to pray and it comes to me, I just see them surrounded in this golden light of perfection, as they are just one with the source it is. And I know that, and I know that whatever needs to be wholeness in their life is there, and let it go. So we don't even have to have something to pray for. We just see that divine light in someone. And you guys, it is so powerful. And it's based the way we do our prayer here. And see, it's done unto us as we believe. And so the more we practice this, the more we'll see results, the more we'll believe. So that when we speak our word for something, we know that it is done. Because it is already done. It may take time to show up, because there may be healings. I'm peeling that onion that needs to happen before we can experience the results of those prayers. But it works without that God saying no, because the universe always says yes to us. Even when our thoughts are not so positive, they'll show up too. All of our thoughts are prayers, really. All of our thoughts are prayers. I'm talking about conscious prayers today, but all of our thoughts are prayers. Because our thoughts are powerful. And so there is this presence that we all can feel. And when Dawn does meditation, or you go into meditation at home or into your prayer work, enough times you begin to feel this inner presence. So that there is something powerful, that power of creation, that power of life, that power of love, whatever it is, it's undefinable, but is able to be experienced. And so there is that which is that birthed us, created us, and is as us. Is as us. Important way to say it. And our thoughts work through a law. So this power and presence in us, we direct it in our own life. I'm not saying that it isn't there guiding us every moment, because as I look back over my life, I know something's been there keeping me out of trouble. But we direct that through a law that takes our thoughts and our prayers and acts upon them. Laws work, and they work for everyone. They work the same. They work without favoritism. There is nothing up there that says you are not good enough, you need to improve, I'm not happy with you. That doesn't exist. You see, I think as people, we always create God in our own image. You know? Because it's so, we know it's there, and we don't know what, and we can't define it. So throughout history, we've kind of created God in our own image. And, you know, we do judge. And so why not have a judgmental God? You know, and that's part of our human evolution. And I'm not saying that any of these are bad. We're all right where we need to be. I believe that that's true. But just briefly, or I will talk the rest of the day about prayer. So you might have to stand up and say, oh, okay, enough. But we have this 5-step prayer. And do think about coming to this workshop, because we're going to really talk about how it feels like miracles, you guys, when this works, but it's not miracles. It's the natural way it works when we're in tune with that infinite presence. So we spend a lot of time thinking so that we get in this atmosphere of this oneness. That's step 1. And see, these steps are tools. They're tools to get us to the place where we don't need the tools. We just know. But we use the tools where there is just one power and one presence, this divine life. And we should spend most of our time in the treatment there. Call it a treatment. The second step is realizing that we are one with that. How powerful if there is that one creative presence and we are one with that. Wow. And then, of course, the third step is what we want to happen, and usually that's where we like to hang out the most. But if we are really clear about step 1 and 2, there is only God, and we are one with that, then step 3 is this, the realization that what we seek is already ours. I already knew before you asked. And then, of course, we are divinely grateful, because why are we grateful for something? We're grateful for something we already have. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for the dinner. Thank you for all of that. So we are thankful because it's affirming that it is already done. And then we let it go. And so it is, and we know that we leave it to the law. It's a human tendency to take it back and think God may not have heard it right or understood, or I really want it to be, you know. We take it back. We do. We take it back. Let me redo it. I can't let it go because what if he didn't get it right? He or she, but usually he or it. So I take it back. But no, we let it go, because once we have spoken those words, it is already done, you guys. This works. And so if you have something that you want this team to pray for, the prayer team, please fill out one of those cards and really consider coming to this workshop, because you're going to find that miracles in your life are really doable in all times. So, namaste.
Try that. Found myself a little light, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine. Found myself a little light, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine on down. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine on down. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. places that I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine.
Can we stand and join you in that?
All the places that I walk now, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine, shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine on down. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine on down. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. Now all the times that I talk, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine, shine. Oh, and every time I use my voice, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, shine, shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine on down. This little light of mine, gonna let it shine. Gonna let it shine, let it shine on down. Yeah, this little light of mine, gonna let it shine. I'm singing this little light of mine, gonna let it shine.
Thank you. So now's the time in our service for our offertory that I always consider a high, holy, sacred moment when we all get to participate together to support our community in however way that we're inspired to do.
Yes.
There's a,
We have this special offering that we do, but it has to do with the affirmation first. We set it in place before we do the action. So let us, in your program, you'll see it there. It's the offertory affirmation that starts with divine love, okay? And that multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. So thank you, God. And so it is. Okay. Roy, would you come forward and share that?
Grass it ends up greener where you water it. Won't be fruit from seeds you haven't sown. Grass it ends up greener where you water it. Now's the time to let your garden grow. Grass it ends up greener where you water it. Won't be fruit from seeds you haven't sown. Grass it ends up greener where you water it. Now's the time to let your garden grow. Oh, now's the time to let your garden grow. Yeah, now's the time to let your garden grow.
Yeah. Let your garden grow. And this is just one way that we expand our garden of life, the way we live our life, what we experience and what we do, what we believe in. We believe that what you give comes back to you, especially giving with an open heart, comes back to us in just more than just measure. It comes immeasurable in many different ways, so many ways. And so I just give thanks this morning that we have you here this morning to be a part of the giving, the receiving, the loving, the being who we really are as expressions of God walking on this planet. And you've proven that right now by giving your faith, by giving your promise, by giving all those things that says, yeah, I'll share. I like where I'm at. I like what I heard. I like it. I like it all. I accept that, and so it is.
And so let us say together our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever God is, and all is well. So we form a circle and hold hands and know that peace is possible. It's between your legs.
Come on down, grab a hand. Not this time. Not this time.
Everybody's
Wow. The whole gang of us, right? Exactly.